Hello.
Oh.
Do you take baths in the morning, Ben?
I don't have a bath, so no.
Oh.
The way that my share house is structured, there is like a communal like bath space and like, bathroom. And that has a bath, but I have my own little ensuite with my own shower and toilet and stuff.
Wow, how fancy.
It is.
I feel sorry for anyone that joined us at this part and has no idea what this is about.
I also have a very tiny room, but it's okay because I pay very cheap rent. So
I feel like a lot of our videos get like views towards the tail end of arcs where people are like, oh yeah, let's see how they reacted to the
let's
ending.
see all the crazy stuff that's happening. Like, let me tell you about my house.
Yeah.
Let me tell you interior design wise.
Oh, goodness.
It's good.
I don't really feel like I have a lot to say on last arc. Last chapter.
It's a lead up to this, right? Like,
yeah.
We're setting up the shit.
There is a very strange question floating about in my head right now as to whether I should believe what Keiichi is seeing in this scene.
Oh.
Like, part of me wants to say no, but I also, like... I don't really know...
Maybe he's just in a hospital.
Yeah, I don't really know why we would be shown this scene if it wasn't happening, because this isn't really a scene you can, like, at a face value, extrapolate a lot from in terms of ulterior meanings.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a question... for those of you who don't like what I like to call metagaming, that's what we do here all the time. Like, if a scene exists, it must have a purpose. And the, like, plot reason for that last existing is to show how awful Sadako is doing, obviously.
Yeah.
And how bad Keiichi is taking everything. But, yeah, if we're thinking about the broader mystery, there has to be more going on there. There has to be some information we can take from that and stretch out. But yeah, I definitely, I don't know what you would like to pull from that. Sadako has apparently been in the bath since last night at some time. I don't know if that tells you anything.
Like, that, as I said, feels like a very face value scene.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering if I should even be trying to extrapolate more from it.
Yeah, apparently.
Because, like, obviously with earlier in the arc where we had the whole thing where it's like, oh, Keiichi, thanks for coming to the festival, y'all nugget.
It's a Bill's house. It's a Bill's house.
When he didn't remember going to the festival at all.
House. Yep.
Then obviously, the fact that he supposedly was at the festival but didn't remember going was significant.
Yep.
But if we get to the end of this and he didn't go to Sadako's house and find her boiled alive in the bath,
apparently, yeah.
What the hell is that scene then?
Having a bath in the morning like some kind of psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that the thing that I might poke you on, where the fuck was Tepe?
The thing is, I completely agree that that's the obvious, like, flaw in that scenario.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's also the obvious flaw with the easiest out.
Sure.
He's just not there.
Right.
Like, if he's a fucking drunk-ass party animal and he's just gone to a friend's place...
yeah.
Then, it's like, so Sadako gave him a crappy dinner and he's like, well... Go sit in the bath, and I'm gonna go to one of my friend's places to have dinner, and then he gets drunk and stays over at his friend's place, so he's just not home yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's not improbable.
Okay, no, for sure. I feel you, fam. So I'm gonna poke your brain a little bit, see where you're at. No supernatural heebie-jeebies going on?
Definitely none. I'm sure that there are no ghosts, and that all of the white steam from the bath is definitely not an allusion to how a ghost manifests itself inside all of us who take baths in the morning.
It's true. I've never seen a ghost, and I've never had a bath in the morning, so...
It's no wonder I see ghosts everywhere.
The
hilly road to the clinic, with which I had never had difficulties before, was now torturous. Big beads of sweat formed on my brow, and at some point my breath had grown faint.
I'd really just like if Keiichi rocks up to the clinic and he's just carrying some, like, random animal he's picked up off the side of the road.
It's Sadako, she's been burned alive! And it's just like a little rabbit.
Yeah.
The hatchet in my belt was heavy and made it hard to walk. I considered leaving it, but I couldn't let it go, at least not while Sadako's uncle was still breathing. The signboard for the Irie clinic came into sight.
Here we are.
But I quickly noticed something was odd, so I stopped.
Before we continue, crap. What do you think's going on here, Felix?
Well, Ben, there are several red revolving lights.
I was gonna ask you before that happened, but what do you think's going on here? Any thoughts?
Oh, that's...
I remembered this scene just as that was coming on. Anyway, what do you think's going on, Felix?
I don't know.
Any predictions? There are some red revolving lights.
Yeah.
Probably from aliens, but,
like,
you have to take a stab.
As someone who has spent a lot of my life around hospitals...
Yeah.
Like, I mean... they're obviously warning of something, but why they would be on the outside of the building so you can see them as you approach?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
I'm just wondering if you have any ideas about what's about to go down. Yeah. As we proceed through the scene, perhaps.
Yeah, like, obviously it's some emergency situation, but specifically red revolving lights were flashing and he can see them from the outside. That's unusual to me. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Oh god, I really want to throw something down before we move on, just so that I've like.
I just want to see if you have any thoughts about like what this scene is going to be, or like.
I would really love it if it was like, this is all the fallout from Keiichi escaping the hospital, and this is like a patient has escaped.
They're trying to like catch him.
Yeah,
for sure. All right.
Several red revolving lights were flashing at the clinic. 3 police cars were parked in the parking lot with their lights on. There didn't need to be much else to inform me something had happened.
But what though?
I didn't want to see Coach, so I had planned to leave Sadako in the clinic waiting room and give the receptionist a message.
Good plan.
With that police officer Oishi here, I couldn't go inside so carelessly.
Oh, there's a sprite. I guess we're gonna talk about it now.
This is the thing I was saying I didn't want to happen on my screen, Ben.
Yeah, there it is.
All right,
if you want to like add more stuff on there,
let's just quickly. Okay.
Yeah, not much better.
No, that is objectively worse.
Yeah. There's a curve there. Anyway, yeah. Did you know? I don't know what scenes my information moles are finding out for me, but I know that in some scenes in this arc, Sadako doesn't even have a towel on in the original version. But they patched that out, and there was like a huge controversy about it too, of like, you're censoring Ryukishi's work, but like, just take it out. Yeah, I'm finding out now. Oh, it's not this scene, it's later on.
Okay.
But yeah, later on there will be a scene where normally we'd see a nude Sadako, but it's just not there, which is good because she's like 8 years old.
Thank you.
So just reassuring you, this is as bad as it gets.
Is this Sadako talking? I guess it has to be.
Maybe.
What's going on? Why are there so many police cars? I gently put Sadako down in the shade of the thicket. I don't know. I'll go see what happens, so you stay here for a moment. Leaving a lady in a place like this wearing nothing but a bath towel is simply unforgivable. If you can still fire off those insults, you'll be fine. I'll be right back, I added, getting to my feet. Cautious of my surroundings, I hid myself behind a car and got closer to the officers grouped at the clinic's entrance.
I feel like hiding yourself behind vehicles as you approach is the most obvious way, if you're spotted, to make yourself seem suspicious.
Of course it is. Yeah.
I overheard an officer wearing a necktie, probably their leader, and a white-robed doctor having a discussion about something. The doctor didn't seem to be Coach.
Oh no.
He was one of those who Coach told to make their tea yesterday.
Wait, so sorry, it's a policeman, was it? And this doctor guy? I guess, do you want to be the policeman, or I can just take them both, actually.
Sure.
Otherwise, this is not gonna...
talking.
It's true. This is not gonna be fun for you otherwise. So you were the first one to find it since you were on morning duty. So then, what did it look like? He was sitting on the sofa in the head office. He looked like he was taking a nap. There was a jug and an empty bottle of sleep medication on his desk. He immediately thought he had tried to commit suicide with it. What else? His high temperature and incontinence indicated a severe disturbance of consciousness. It seemed like a typical case of sleeping pill poisoning, so I immediately began to treat him. Without calling the police or an ambulance. This is a hospital and I'm a doctor. Since his life was in danger, it's my job to treat him at once.
True fact.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you call an ambulance and take you to a hospital? We are a hospital. Yes, I understand. Okay, what else? His breathing was in disarray, so I put him on a respirator. I also administered breathing stimulants. It had no effect, so I prepared a medical ventilator and... Right. So, in other words, you did what you could, but it wasn't enough. That's it, right? You reported this as soon as he died.
So, there are spinning lights on because someone's died at a hospital?
Apparently.
Could you imagine if, like, you had a family member in hospital and they had, like, a lights show on the outside if someone died inside? So you walk up to the hospital for visiting hours, and the death lights are on, and you're like, oh no!
You know what, Felix? That would be weird if someone died who was under their care in the hospital. That would be weird. I don't think they put on a light show for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It was very unfortunate that we were unable to save him.
Just then, a radio in one of the police cars started to buzz, producing a broken mechanical voice.
This is Oishi in school. This is Oishi in school. Komiyama-san, can you hear me? Over. Hello. This is Komiyama. We've come up with something. It looks like he committed suicide with sleeping pills, no notes or anything.
Suicide? What the heck were they talking about? Someone had committed suicide at the clinic. But who?
But who could it be?
I wished Takano-san dead and she died the next day. And yesterday I wished Coach was dead. Then, could he have...
Did he use sleeping medication regularly? I don't really know. Did he normally complain that he was tired or wanted to die? Well, Irie-sensei was normally so well himself.
I just wanted to let that kind of hang for just a little half second there. As the grin slowly rose on my face.
I guess so. I guess it's happening. Poor sweet baby Irie, no! He never acted like that.
So I was right. Irie-sensei. We're talking about Coach. Coach killed himself. Why would he do that? There couldn't have been any reason he wanted to die. The only reason that came to mind was that I wanted him dead. This world was insane. If I wanted someone dead, they'd die. That was the kind of world this was. Then what about Uishi? What happened to him? If people really died because I wanted them to, then something should have happened to him too.
I've sent you back up. The chief wants you to leave the rest of them and get back to searching for Uishi's car. Yes, sir. Hey, please excuse me then.
Is that Uishi's car he owns, or the car Uishi was looking for, or both?
That's a great question. It looks like we're getting relieved he is, so please leave everything as it is right now. Alright, let's go.
The officers nodded and split up into the patrol cars.
Did they just say searching for Uishi's car? Searching for his car. That meant he'd gone missing. Takano-san, Coach, and Uishi. When I wished for it, the very next day, they disappeared. No matter how angry you were when you said you wished someone was dead, it didn't normally happen. Everyone knew just wishing for it wouldn't make them dead, and that's why people could utter such curses so lightly. But the curses I uttered were being granted. At the time, I hadn't even been walking in yet. Tap. I heard a footstep. And it wasn't only one this time. Tap, tap. They came from behind, and they stood right behind me, reaching a hand from my shoulder.
Would you mind telling me what's going on?
Sadako, don't scare me like that.
I'm the scared one here. I'd prefer if you didn't shout so suddenly.
It was Sadako.
Yes.
It was definitely maybe Sadako, unless my eyes deceive me.
Her eyes were still unstable, unfocused, but she seemed able to at least walk on her own now. She looked far better now compared to her earlier exhausted state. How do you feel? Are you better?
My head still hurts, but I can't stay outside looking like this forever.
She gave a smile, a show of courage, but her legs were still shaky.
Anyway, what on earth is going on?
From what I just heard, the police talking about Coach apparently committed suicide.
Just drop it.
Why would you tell her that? Why would you say that?
Drop that mic.
Sadako was at a loss for words. Her face grew paler and paler. I could tell she was doubting her own ears.
Keiichi-san, is that true? I didn't mishear you.
That's what I heard. They said Irie-sensei killed himself with sleeping pills. Sadako went down on her knees and broke out in tears.
Why?
It can't be. Coach, he'd never ever kill himself.
As I watched Sadako trying and clawing at the grass, I felt myself trapped by guilt and remorse. I got so angry that Coach was treating me like a madman yesterday, that he betrayed me, that I thought he'd be better off dead. But even Coach, who to me deserved to die, still must have had people who loved and respected him. Like Sadako here. In my selfish, egotistical anger, I wished for his death, and it was granted. And now Sadako was crying hysterically as a result. The guilt tore my heart.
I gotta turn this down quick.
Oh, there it is. Oh, such a good scene ruined.
I worked myself up to murder for Sadako's sake. I decided I wanted Sadako to be happy. But was that really all it took? Murder meant taking someone's life. It meant making everyone else attached to that person sad. In Sadako's uncle's case, of course, nobody would be sad. I didn't feel a sense of guilt at all. But Coach's death was different.
Just the best thing about this track is the fact that it pauses right before it goes wham, wham, wham.
Well, the build up, it's great. It's, yeah. Did you see the message? I don't know if it was in general in spoilers in Hinamizawa, so you better have.
Remaster meme?
I don't know about that. I don't know if it was a meme, but it was just a message like the Ryukishi was. It was in a thing. It was an interview, and Ryukishi was asked about the tracks, like how they brought Dai on board, and that like apparently Ryukishi's brother, like the different tracks, the free tracks that they got are all at different levels, obviously, and so they just had a bit of free software that would level them all out to be the exact same volume, and that's why all this distortion is happening. And so Dai sent them a message like, obviously you guys need help. It's great.
Exactly the way I wanted that story to go.
Yeah, it was like, would you like me to come on board because you guys need help, was like the exact phrasing. It was brilliant. I love Dai so much. Can't wait for him to show up.
I'd wanted to make Sadako happy, and that had resulted in me inflicting a deep sadness upon her, hadn't it? But Coach killed himself. It wasn't my...
I can't. I've got too much of a grin on my face to
I know.
to cry right now.
Me too, actually. I'm not in the mood for this scene at all.
I know.
Which is awful.
We're really bad at this.
We are. We're awful. We're the worst Let's Players. Why do you guys watch us? Come on.
Sadako still hadn't stopped crying, but she seemed to be a little calmer now.
That was not the word I intended to say, but I said it anyway.
Wiping her tears, she stood up.
Good.
I'm sorry. The only thing I could think of to say to her was an apology.
Oh, why are you apologizing?
Yesterday I got into a fight with Coach, and I thought that I wanted him to die. I wanted it so he really... Sadako looked at me dubiously for a few moments. Eventually her expression softened as she interpreted my words in her own way.
It isn't your fault, Kichi-san. Coach was an adult too. He felt like there was something he had to give his life for and chose to do so after a lot of worrying and suffering. It's not anyone's fault.
She smiled a little, trying to comfort me.
I did not want to be naked forever. I want some clothes.
Are you okay? Shouldn't you get someone at the clinic to...
I won't die from putting on clothes before going...
Sadako readjusted her bath towel and started back along the path. Her stride was wobbly and it didn't look like she'd recovered as much as she let on.
So we're just going the whole way back.
We are. Sort of.
It's a very, like, authorial decision, that one.
It is.
We're gonna go have an entirely different scene somewhere else, and, well, guess we're going back now.
Yeah. We are going here for an explicit purpose to get help. Well, I guess we won't get help now, because that would mean the scene would be over. Yeah. It is very much that sort of situation.
First, Sadako tried to go back home, but it was the time of the morning where people were going to school and to work, so after seeing people walking around, she thought better of it. She must have been pretty embarrassed wearing only the towel.
I'm going to Rika's house. My clothes should be there. What's wrong? Keiichi-san?
In my head, in the geography of this village, Rika's is like the furthest house away of anyone's.
I'm trying to think, actually. Because we know that school is the opposite way to Sadako's house. And the festival... Wait, the shrine is on the way to Sadako's house because we went with Tomitake there. We met Takano there, right? So the shrine and therefore Rika's house, right? They're like in the same place, aren't they? So the shrine and Sadako's house are actually kind of on the way. They're kind of close together, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it goes Keiichi's house and the shrine.
Let me rephrase
and
myself.
then
of Sadako's house, Rika's house, and the clinic.
Yeah.
Rika's is the furthest away in my head.
In your head, fair enough. Well, I don't know that we've ever had the clinic like positioned in the village, have we?
No, I guess not.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Anyhow,
Someone should just draw a map, honestly.
please.
Someone draw some map.
Sadako noticed how I was hanging my head and spoke to me.
Link in the description.
Despite how he might have come off, Coach was an adult, alright? He would certainly not have killed himself after a petty fight with you, Keiichi-san. Please stop blaming yourself.
At first I thought it was a coincidence, but with 3 people now I could discard the possibility. There's no such thing as impossible in this world.
It's true.
These past few days haven't made any sense.
What hasn't?
Sadako seemed to be having trouble breathing, but she still tried to listen to what I had to say. At the Watanagashi festival the day before last, you went home on the way there, right? And I went there and had a lot of fun.
So it would seem. I do apologize for getting so upset with you about it.
Sadako remembered how she blew up at me in the classroom yesterday and bowed to me a little. If I said I actually didn't go to the festival at all, would you believe me? Sadako looked at me confused. She couldn't help it, of course.
Of course I wouldn't believe you. What are you on about?
You wouldn't, right? I don't believe it either. I mean, I didn't go to the festival, but everyone says I hung out with them there. Nobody would believe it, right?
Are you being serious?
Yeah. Ever since the night of Watanagashi, everything's been messed up. These weird footsteps suddenly started following me everywhere. The blood drained from Sadako's expression.
Footsteps following you?
Yeah. I thought it was just my imagination at first, but they stayed with me. They're probably still there. I can't tell them apart now because of your footsteps, though. Sadako took a long and hard look at me. Maybe she was doubting my sanity. Coach did the same thing. I mean, why wouldn't he after telling him this? The more I thought about it, the more I was unable to endure the feeling my hatred for Coach had been meaningless. On the day of Watanagashi, I didn't go. I was doing something else. The whole time. I wasn't sleeping or unconscious or anything. So it's not possible that I walked to the festival in my sleep and forgot about it afterwards.
Well, what were you doing? Where were you?
That is quite strange. Then how are you at the festival?
That's what I mean. I didn't go to the festival. No, I can't let myself get emotional. If I get agitated now, that'd be like proving there's something wrong with my head. Sorry, well, nobody believes me, so yeah.
If that is what you say, Kichi-san, then I will believe you. Then what?
That night I saw Takano-san, and it felt like she was looking down on me, so I made a wish. A wish that she would die.
Takano-san does have that sort of air about her, doesn't she? I cannot say that I don't understand how you feel.
Did you know that Takano-san died? It happened yesterday. Apparently she was burned alive somewhere.
Is that true? She died?
God, that was rough.
I wished for her to die, and the next day she was dead. And Oishi from the police, too. Do you know him? That annoying and fat detective guy?
Wow, Luigi is a gem. Shush you. Only one of those things is true.
Which one?
I don't want to say. You have to figure it out.
He's a detective?
Maybe. I'm gonna tell you. That's the whole point of the riddle.
That's a riddle?
Yes.
Sadako,
one
not
of
a
these
riddle.
3 things is true, and if you say the wrong thing, then you die.
I heard from the police earlier, but apparently he went missing. And yesterday, actually, I wished that he would die.
Is this all true?
I'm not lying. I don't want to believe it either, but it's true. Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi, I wanted them dead, and they really died.
For a little while, Sadako was at a loss. A long silence ensued.
What a scary story. I should be sure not to get on your bad side, Kichi-san.
And that's not all. There's something even stranger. It's about your uncle.
I would rather you not talk about my uncle.
He was there yesterday, right, at your house.
Could you please stop talking about him? I don't want to.
It's impossible. He couldn't have been there.
I said stop talking about him. No. No.
A man couldn't have been there after the night of Watanagashi because I...
No! No more, please. No more about that man.
I killed him.
Oh, God.
With my own hands.
It's the scene!
Even the cicadas stopped crying. Her face was streaked with tears, and it stiffened even more as she looked at me in disbelief. On the night of the Watanagashi festival, I killed your uncle. So it's impossible that he could have gone back home. But still, he went back. And last night he found fault with the dinner you made him, yelled all sorts of things at you, and then basically boiled you in the bathtub. That couldn't possibly have happened. So I wanted to make sure I had actually killed him, so yesterday I went to dig up the corpse I'd buried, but the body wasn't there. Is that even possible? I killed him for sure, but there was no body. And he went home like nothing happened, home to you, and that wasn't supposed to happen, was it? Sadako's entire body stiffened. She was shrinking away like there was someone in front of her about to hurt her. You probably think I've gone a little Crazy, don't you?
No.
I don't blame you. I can't believe it myself.
Keiichi-san, I think you're very confused after all the people you wished were dead coincidentally died. You're just in shock at Coach's suicide and you're really upset. I think you should stay home from school today and rest. I'll be fine, so please take care of yourself.
Sadako spoke like she understood me, but she also told me to go home. I could see the revulsion in her face and knew that she didn't want to be around me anymore. Once I show you to the clinic, I'll go home. Your legs are still shaking, aren't they? It'd be terrible if you collapsed halfway there.
Really, I'm fine now. I didn't want to expose my naked self to a man any more than this.
She wobbled up the shrine steps looking like she was about to fall. I immediately ran up to her and helped her stay on her feet. God damn it.
God damn
The
it.
translation.
Translation team, please.
But then Sadako promptly jumped away from me. That outright rejection hurt a lot. Once she got to the top of the stairs, her breathing was ragged and she wasn't even looking at me. At this point, I was being ignored. Well, it was more like she didn't want to have anything to do with me. It was really a feeling of rejection. That hurt my heart more than any blade could have. This was the path I chose for her sake. To be treated like this at the end of it all was just so saddening. Don't be naive, Keiichi Maebara. You never wanted to be repaid in the first place.
Didn't you?
You didn't do it so Sadako would thank you.
Didn't you?
You did it so Sadako would be happy. And that was what led to this ending. Rika-chan's house was a disaster prevention storehouse used by the town council. If you went past it a little further through the shrine grounds, you'd apparently reach the back of the assembly hall. Sadako was heading there, walking quickly, the gravel under her feet crunching as she went. Did she want to get there as soon as possible, or did she want to run away? I couldn't tell. And then I heard the vigorous sound of wings flapping. I turned around and saw a crow. I hadn't seen many crows since coming to Hinamizawa. I saw them a lot in my old town, though. On garbage day, they'd flock to trash collection points, peck through bags with their beaks, drag out the contents, and have a feast. Now that is an image that I feel like we're about to get a parallel for.
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Nothing is happening.
As I was remembering, I saw a few crows flocking around the shrine's donation box.
Don't look.
And I thought how terrible it was for someone to leave a garbage bag in a place like that.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I don't want to be here. No, this is not good.
Oh, it's a corpse time.
No, it's
Whose
not.
corpse is it gonna be?
I don't want to look. Can we just
Whose
quit the
body?
game now? Chris, get the game now, please.
God.
What do you think?
I don't know how this arc keeps making me more and more excited for this.
Do you want to take a guess at what we might find behind that box?
Well, listen, the thing is
Yeah.
in the context of, like, the arc so far,
Yeah.
I feel like the prime candidates are going to be Uishi, Teppei, and, you know, less so, but maybe Takano.
Right.
Right? Because those are the three kind of like unlocated bodies we have.
Okay.
But because we've gone to Rika's,
Yeah.
that's my first guess.
Okay. Maybe. Let's
Because
find out.
it's not the kind of thing that like I really would expect unless it was here.
Okay. Let's have a look. Take a look around behind the shrine donation box. I'm
I
sure there's
thought
nothing.
how terrible it was for someone to leave a garbage bag in a place like that. The cicadas quieted. Breathing stopped.
It's the shrine bells.
Thoughts ceased. Even time came to a halt.
Watch out for the spirit world.
I ran over to where the crows were flocking. I ran there in order to drive a horrible idea out of my mind. I definitely hadn't wanted this. There's no way I would ever wish for this, even by mistake. This wasn't... When they noticed my vicious approach, the crows all flapped upwards, fleeing into the sky. When the crows' big black bodies flew away, they exposed the garbage bag.
Just read it.
Such a good...
I'm done with your shit.
Such a quick
Oh,
payoff.
I'm done.
Ah! What had I seen there? The scream had escaped from my throat before I understood what I was looking at. What was this? Sadako came over as well, realizing something had happened. And she looked over my shoulder, then she screamed as well. This wasn't... The garbage bag was crimson, dyed in fresh blood. Enough of this stupid roundabout way of saying it. That's right. Yes, it was Rika-chan. Our friend. Sadako's best friend. Always easygoing, clever as a cat, but so cute you couldn't hate her.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did we just throw clever as a cat in here?
We did.
After just introducing one quote-unquote mountain dog?
No comment.
When Rika's last main speaking role in the story was talking about the dog that bit the cat?
I'm pretty sure that was back in Arc 2, but whatever, yeah.
But that was like her last like big scene, right?
I guess so.
Oh, what's a mountain dog, Ben?
Who fucking knows, dude?
But so cute you couldn't hate her. Our friend Rika-chan. Rika-chan was stark naked. She was face up, limbs sprawled. Her eyes were like glass, just staring up into the sky. And Rika! Ah! Sadako broke down crying on the spot, and yet she still couldn't approach her friend's remains. The crows had gotten through the garbage bag and dragged out an apple peel and spread it all over. No, crows, they couldn't do this. On the spot, I started vomiting. The sour taste became a bitter one as I threw up over and over again. Rika-chan,
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Here it
Her
comes. Stomach was cut wide open, vertically, completely open. Rika! Crows couldn't have done this. And for her open stomach, her organs, her bowels were dragged out like children's toys left all over the floor. An unbelievable sight induced oxygen deprivation in my brain. Color left my vision, a pounding headache, dizzy, and I wanted to vomit. It was like the nightmarish remains of a ceremonial killing. Someone somewhere had killed Rika-chan and brought her here later with her limbs sprawled out and then cut open her stomach and dragged out her intestines. Red and pink viscera were sticking out of her gut, and her intestines were scattered in every direction like it had been for fun. The entire ground was covered in an ocean of red and black. A few of the crows had hopped around inside that ocean. They walked through the sea of blood, leaving bloody footprints in those footprints. There were several still left on Rika-chan's body. Those sinister prints made it seem even more like a bizarre ritual killing. I may have wished for Takano-san and Coach and Uishi to die, but I didn't remember ever wishing for Rika-chan's death. Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I stumbled backwards, then stepped on a newspaper. A newspaper in a place like this. The newspaper was what was covering my hatchet.
Oh boy.
I kept it wrapped up and on my belt in order to carry Sadako, and that newspaper had fallen off. Jeez, don't scare me like that. I bent down to pick it up, and then Sadako looked at me with such disbelief as I'd never seen and froze.
Here we go.
She was looking straight at me at the hatchet on my belt. Calm down, Sadako. This isn't what it looks like.
What does it look like? Like, I get what the story is trying to say, that it looks like he's the one that's done this and put the hatchet here, but you just bring a second hatchet, one hatchet per murder?
Yeah, who knows, dude?
Is it like the silver bullet, the silver hatchet with the name written on the side?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird.
Alrighty, this isn't what it looks like. Sadako, trembling madly, backed away. It wasn't me. It wasn't... Murderer! She didn't care at all that she was exposing herself through the towel. She just trembled and tried to step back from the demon in front of her. Sadako, please calm down. Please relax. Sadako. No!
Yeah.
Screaming weakly, Sadako began to run unsteadily. Run away, that is.
Yeah, the way that the anime does the hatchet bit is that he flails wildly at the crows with it and it skids through the blood.
Yeah.
So that's a much more kind of solid connection.
Yeah.
This is just, you have a weapon on you. Clearly you are the one who killed my friend.
Yeah, that's like kind of disappointingly vague for how visual this story has been.
And that description was very good, though.
Yeah.
The garbage bag with the apple peel pulled out.
Wait, please. Sadako, you're wrong. That's not it.
I guess, like, the point could be that it's a very vague connection and they're trying to point out how, like, meaningless the connection is in some way.
Sadako's she's already scared, right?
Yeah.
Of Keiichi.
But I do think that despite how you could interpret that, it would have been better with a description like the way you say the anime did it.
Yeah, definitely.
The way she ran away, it was so weak, so slow. If I wanted to go after her, I could have caught up. But if I tried to grab Sadako's shoulder or something right now, she might actually go crazy. So I had to follow her and try and clear this up.
Of course, because running after someone who's scared of you for holding a weapon is the best way.
It's perfect.
You killed Takano-san and Coach and Ishi-san, didn't you? You killed my uncle and you killed Rika. You murderer!
No, it wasn't me. I didn't kill her.
What are you saying? You just said it yourself, did you not? You wanted them to die. And then everyone died, didn't they?
I just wishing they were dead that couldn't.
You don't even remember what you did you? How can I trust a person like you? Didn't your memory of killing them just slip your mind? Maybe you're only pretending not to remember. Besides, what is that hatchet for? Try explaining that.
It's for...
See, Keiichi-san, you are a killer, aren't you? Why did you do it? You were a little mean, but you were fun and kind, and once I even thought you might be my real Nini. Why did you turn into this?
To protect you.
I might have been able to slowly answer each one of Sadako's questions at a time, but in this situation, explaining my innocence in such a short period of time was impossible. I mean, I didn't even know if I really was innocent anyway. At the very least, I killed Sadako's uncle. There's no body, but I killed him, without a doubt. At that point, I was far from innocent. And I wish Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi were dead. And that curse of mine was granted. When I wished for Takano-san to die, I didn't think of it as anything more than a normal thing you'd say to someone you didn't like. But then she actually did die, and I realized if I wanted people to die, they would. And hoping it would happen again, I cursed Coach and Oishi to the same fate. So even ignoring Takano-san's death, Coach's and Oishi's were completely premeditated crimes. Was I a killer just like Sadako said? Was I unable to distinguish between illusion and reality and turned into a demon without remembering it, becoming a killer who carried out Oyashiro-sama's curse? No. That couldn't be. It was impossible. Ah, damn it! The very word impossible in Hinamizawa right now. How many freaking times have I said that word these past 3 days? Sadako had started crying again and was walking unsteadily. At first it felt like she was still running, but now it was like she was walking away crying from someone bullying her. Why did things turn out this way? Why? Ah! If there was an answer to that, then I wanted to know it too. Why? Why had it turned out like this?
After Nini went away, I was lonely for a long time, but then Keiichi-san transferred to our school and everyone was happy again. It was fun again. Every day was beautiful.
Yeah, she was right. Those days were bright and beautiful. And yet, after that, Sadako and I shouted the exact same thing. How did it turn out like this? The cicadas were sneering at the spectacle. A strange game of tag. Shut up! Eventually I heard the murmuring of a stream. The forest parted and a suspension bridge appeared. Sadako was crossing dangerously, wobbling as though she might fall at any moment. When I stepped onto the bridge, it swayed a lot, causing Sadako to stagger and fall on the spot. Sadako, are you okay?
Don't come near me! You murderer!
Sadako shouted, her hatred made me very clear. It was sad. If words could cut, then this warmth flowing from my eyes would have been blood for sure.
We don't.
Why did you turn out this way, Keiichi-san? I really liked you.
I wanted to go up to her and give her a hand, but the distance between us was uncrossable. If I got any closer, Sadako would start shouting again, and say things that would hurt me deeply again. So I couldn't approach any closer than this. Sadako, I don't know. I don't know how things turned out like this either. But I can say this, I wasn't the one who killed Rika-chan. At least that is true.
Please stop being so absurd. How do you expect me to believe anything someone who can't even rely on his own memories has to say?
I tightened my hands into fists. This was mortifying. I wasn't crazy, and Amazawa was crazy. Ever since I wandered into it, lost on that one night. This insane world where I was at the festival when I wasn't, and the uncle I killed was alive. Where death would just come by wishing for it. It was this world's fault. Leon and Rena started acting strangely, like they were possessed by something too. And Coach wouldn't believe anything I had to say. And even Sadako, who I should have protected, was yelling at me like this. Was the price for killing a man supposed to be this high? Was I really going to be forced to stay in such a bitter world? I did the right thing. At least I wanted to. So then, why? I hated it. Every time I asked why, the days Sadako and I enjoyed in peace went so wrong. Sadako, please believe me. I'm not a murderer.
Then what is that hatchet for? Can you give a convincing explanation for that?
Is this hatchet scaring you? Okay, I'll throw it away. It's what you want, right? Sadako did nod, but she seemed to be in agreement with that proposition. I clumsily took the hatchet out of my belt and dropped it over the side of the bridge into the stream below. There, it's gone. Now you'll listen to me, right?
You think I'll let my guard down just because you got rid of your weapon? Keiichi-san, you're strong. It would be easy for you to strangle me with your bare hands.
Like hell I would ever want to kill Sadako. You idiot. And what should I do? Should I put my hands on my head?
Yes, why don't you? Please put your hands on your head and face the other way.
It was a cunning plan, much like the one she used during club activities. Putting my hands on my head and turning away would mean I couldn't attack Sadako very easily. I immediately acquiesced to her request, since it would make her feel better. Is this alright? Please listen to what I have to say. Sadako stood up.
You're looking the other way and there's a stream going, Keiichi.
Don't worry about it.
Sadako stood up, then carefully approached me from behind, and then she actually came right up behind me. She was so close, and yet I was so sad that I wasn't allowed to turn around.
You see, like, it's not the kind of thing where, like, she stood up and came over to me is, like, a particularly weird thing. Except in a story where we have this strange set of sounds of a small child moving around constantly.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Sure, it's nothing important.
I sort of think I understand that it isn't your fault, Keiichi-san.
Huh?
I think probably you've just been possessed by something evil. Until before I thought Keiichi-san was a killer, but now I know. After looking at your eyes.
I could hear that Sadako was still crying, but her voice was gentle just the same.
Keiichi-san could never kill anyone. Something simply possessed his body and made him do evil things.
Was she speaking literally right now? Or was she trying to admonish me? I couldn't tell.
Come to think of it, maybe they were possessed just like Keiichi-san. At the time I was only thinking I would be killed, so I didn't think about it, but now I understand. That was the work of something evil that possessed you.
I'm gonna pause and read this line again. At the time, I was only thinking I would be killed, so I didn't think about it, but now I understand. That was the work of something evil that possessed you.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Felix?
I feel like the audience knows what I'm thinking, but I don't want to say it for the sake of sounding so overconfident.
Okay, sure. It's fine if you want to just keep going.
Sadako, what are you?
We always have the recaps.
We do always have the recaps. We've been shilling that a lot this arc.
We need to. We gotta get our views on those recaps.
It's less like she was talking to me and more like she was talking to herself, like she was confessing at my back.
I very much get that vibe.
Yeah.
I understand, it isn't like I haven't experienced it myself.
Sadako's voice started to become mixed with sobs. Her pained voice tore at my heart. I didn't know what Sadako was talking about.
I climbed to the top of the ritual storehouse once. It was a few years ago.
Oh boy, story time.
Story time.
It's one of those things that wasn't in the anime.
Once, when Sadako was playing hide and seek at the shrine grounds, she climbed onto the roof of the storehouse for ritual implements, which everyone said not to go near, and hid. Then Sadako saw that she could get in, through a window meant for ventilation. For Sadako, the word curse was plenty scary, but she was more curious about what was inside the unknown storehouse. She took removed the
Yeah.
grating on the window, which was already hanging off, slid her small body into it, and climbed down inside.
She removed it.
I thought I was going nuts when I read that line.
You're channeling the inner Keiichi.
Yeah. It was too dark to see much, but after descending, she realized just how high up she'd been. Despite the darkness, she could see a few things around her, thanks to the faint light coming in from the air window. The air window.
She could see a few things coming from the air.
Oh,
window.
does it say that as well?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Come on, guys! This is the big climax! What's happening?
And to her disappointment, it was just a regular old storehouse. She tried to leave, but the door was locked up tight from the outside, and it was made to not open from within. She would have to go back out through the ventilation window she'd come in from.
I think you mean the air window.
You're right, Ben, the air window. But the air window was high on the wall, and there was no way she'd be able to climb back up.
Okay.
Sadako desperately tried not to cry, and racked her brain thinking of a way to get up there. There were a lot of birdcage-looking things hanging by chains from the ceiling. She took the hanging chains and strung them along the wall. If she climbed up the bundle of chains, she might be able to manage to climb up to the air window. There was nothing else she could do, so she had to try. And try she did.
Good.
It was dark and creepy, and she didn't want to stay there forever. The more she thought about that, the more she panicked. She climbed the bundle of chains. Sadako could hear the clinks and clangs of everything creaking under her weight. And then, just as her hand reached the window, one of the metal fixtures she'd used to stick the chains on the wall flew off, and the chains all began to pull loudly and furiously, every which way. Spurred on by the sounds behind her, she managed to get back onto the roof from the air window. Because of the weight of the flailing bundle of chains, the other fixtures broke, and then one of the big bird cages hanging from the ceiling fell to the floor with a huge noise. Under it was an image of Oyashiro-sama, his vessel, and the cage took off one of the arms, then trapped some other implements beneath it. It didn't take very long for her to grow scared of what she'd done. The deafening noise could be heard from the rest of the shrine grounds. A few other children heard it and gathered around, and of course, Rika was one of them. Then Rika's father, the shrine priest, with an angry look ran over. And then, as for what happened next, it was painful to remember. The only one who knew where Rika's parents kept the key to the ritual storehouse was Rika. So he scolded her, saying that this happened because Rika pulled a prank and hid her in there. He was very angry and menacing. Just looking at him was enough to frighten anyone. He exposed Rika's back, took a strangely shaped ritual cane or something, and struck her with it several times. Rika's words at the time, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." That pitiful voice. Sadako still can't get it out of her head.
Perfect.
I should have said it was me. I should have said so to save my best friend from that false accusation without being afraid of Rika's father's terrible temper.
Rika gritted her teeth and cried at the crime she didn't remember doing. Ever since then, the world has been strange.
I know, I understand. This is Oyashiro-sama's curse. His judgment for messing up the ritual storehouse and for forsaking my best friend.
Oyashiro-sama's curse.
My father and mother too, they vanished in that muddy stream. My mean aunt died too, but then Nini, who loved me more than anyone, ran away from home. And then Keiichi-san transferred in and I thought I'd finally gotten my fun life back, but this time Keiichi-san was possessed. And even Rika got killed. There's something I heard once. Oyashiro-sama, when he really curses someone, he doesn't kill them right away. He goes in order of your closest friends. And after killing them all, he kills that person last. So Keiichi-san, the curse got you too. I'm sure that Ren-san and Mion will be cursed next. And then they'll kill and be killed. No more. No.
Calm down, Sadako. There is no curse. Nobody is trying to torment you. When I turned around, I was thrust away with amazing force.
Here we go.
Given my hands were awkwardly placed on my head, I couldn't take the fall and lost my balance. And I'd been pushed not onto the bridge, but to the side. Towards the stream. No, this can't be happening. Ah! As one last miracle, I was allowed to grab a cord hanging from the bridge. Far below me was the stream. We were pretty high up, and Below were rocks of all sizes. If I fell, it clearly wouldn't be pretty. The entire bridge was tilting under my body weight. My frail little grip probably wouldn't last another minute before my fingers had to let go. Sadako! Sadako! I didn't understand myself, what I meant by shouting her name then. Was I asking her to save me? Or was I asking her why she did this? Finally, everything came back into focus and I saw Sadako. And I was surprised at what an odd expression she had. It was the first time I'd seen it. It was an expression of righteous anger, meant only for those who needed to die.
Die, you murderer! Give him back! Give him back my Nini! Give back Riku and Mummy and Keiichi-san!
As she screamed, she jerked the bridge to and fro. She didn't have to do that, I was going to fall anyway.
I won't lose to the likes of you! I won't lose to some stupid curse! I'll never, ever lose to you! You took everyone! I'll never lose to you, not ever!
Sadako, please, just let me say one thing. I know what my face looked like at the time, but it seemed like it was enough to quell Sadako's agitation. I know that what I did isn't exactly praiseworthy. No, in fact, maybe I should never have done it at all, but I did it because I wanted you to be happy. Please, just believe that.
You, at the very, very end, you're still pretending to be Keiichi-san.
Sadako didn't seem to have any more desire to listen to what I had to say, and for that to happen at the very end like this was tragic. I didn't do any of it so you would praise me. If it made you happy, that was all that mattered. We were nothing. Without your smile, we were nothing. So after I disappear, please smile. If you can get on with your new life by my dying, then please just smile. Can't you at least promise me that?
Stop speaking! Don't use Keiichi-san's mouth like that! Fall down! Die!
That's a familiar phrase to say in that voice.
And those were the last words Sadako ever said to me. Those sad, tragic, and altogether unrewarding words. What on earth was I? My desire to make Sadako happy ended up like this. Where did I first go wrong? And what was the mistake I made? And when did I make it? Was I the crazy one, or was it Hinamizawa? Even after all of this, I thought I wasn't crazy at all. It was this eerie world that was crazy, this world I'd accidentally wandered into that one night. Because that fun world where I never doubted all the crazy times we had as a club would go on forever. It couldn't possibly have transformed into such an abnormal world. That fun world wouldn't have ever ended with this, with Sadako pushing me to my death. In the end, I was going to be swallowed up by this crazy world. And disappear. No, I'd probably already disappeared. Yeah, probably. On the night of Watanagashi. I'm sure that in the world I really belonged to, I had vanished that night and everyone was worried. It was laughable that I'd taken this long to figure out I wasn't around anymore. Well, Yashiro-sama's curse on the 5th year was Sadako's uncle dying and me disappearing. In the real world, Sadako had already been freed. Maybe my friends were all lamenting my disappearance and valiantly trying to get back on their feet. And even though they were down to 4 people, the club would reopen and they would have a good time without me. Waiting for the day when I'd come back. I'm sorry, everyone. I couldn't come back home. But this is what I wished for. It was my wish for Sadako's smile and my duty as her Nini. At this point, there will be nobody left to torture you. Because Satoshi and I, it took 2 years, but we succeeded. That annoying, toothy smile of yours. We wanted to see it. One more time. What? Yeah, yep.
And that's the end of the story.
Is it though?
That's the end. No, we're not done. We're not there yet.
My pain
You're
was
supposed to die first.
Just die already. Keiichi is the slowest protagonist ever to die.
I was gonna say, Junpei took a while to die too, maybe. But yeah, protagonist.
My pain wasn't gentle or merciful. It was a sharp pain, violent, powerful, and ruthless. What little compassion I had receded in the span of a moment. And now I could die. I could say goodbye to this insane world. Farewell. Crazed Hinamizawa. Thanks for giving me the psychic power to kill people whenever I wanted. If you'd still allow it, I'd wish for one last thing. The death of this very world.
Oh no. Oh, it's gonna happen, isn't it?
The death of this very world, my dude.
Oh, it's going to happen, isn't it?
It's not gonna happen.
Of this crazed Hinamizawa. So that nobody would ever have to find themselves lost here again.
Credits time? Is
Man,
it
if only made a more
credits time?
specific wish.
Oh,
We're not there yet.
no.
We're not there yet. I guess we'll have to see you next time.
How is this still going?
I don't know, dude. This is arc 3. It's a long arc.
You have received new tips from
There's tips too!
I want to read this tip.
Alright, let's do it. Achievement unlocked Demon!
And it's a towel.
Thank God she kept that on. Yeah, in the original version, when she's like rocking the bridge back and forth, that's when her towel falls off.
Oyashiro-sama.
Hey!
I said I was reading this one.
Why are you reading this one?
Because I want to.
Alright.
Nobody really knows what characters to use to write Oyashiro-sama. Knowing this is hard partly because, depending on the time period, he has been called with various titles, with subtle changes to his name, and nobody knows the real one.
Interesting.
The only thing all time periods agree on is that the 4 syllables, O-ya-shi-ro, are always used. There is a theory stating the shrine or yashiro, dedicated to Oyashiro-sama itself, became an object of worship, and that people began calling it Oyashiro-sama or Lord Honorable Shrine, but this doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know whether this is related, but people say the Furude family, the most respected bloodline in terms of worshipping Oyashiro-sama, actually inherited his blood.
Ooh.
And in the legend, the Furude family passes down. If for 8 generations in a row the firstborn child is a girl, the 8th daughter will be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama.
Definitely not relevant.
Yeah, this is one of these things that's like either on the fan wiki and never shows up in the story, or is a key point.
Yeah.
If we go by this legend, the character used for Oyashiro-sama's name should be O for honorable, Ya for 8, and Shiro for generation. Another one of Rikishi's very on-the-nose word games.
It's great.
These character assignments are simply something I've thought up. There is no way to verify it.
The 8th honorable, or the honorable 8th generation. Literally.
If this is true, then Oyashiro-sama would have been named as such under the assumption he would come again. Also, I'm sorry, did it say the firstborn child is a girl?
Yeah.
Is a reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama male?
Oh. This is the 8th daughter, so, who knows.
It's just an interesting touch, like the fact that Oyashiro-sama has been like a male character this whole story and the way it's been presented, but now the reincarnation's of female?
Apparently.
Interesting. If this is true, then Oyashiro-sama would have been named as such under the assumption he would come again. The second coming of an object of worship can be seen in several religions, so this isn't unusual. But a few of these religions call the second coming of their object of worship a day of judgment, or something along those lines, and we must not forget that they mean it to be the end of the world. Thank you, Keiichi.
Definitely not relevant.
Rika Furude, pampered and loved dearly by the elderly folk in the village. The rumors say she is the 8th generation, and Oyashiro-sama. I do not know the family tree of the Furudes, but at the very least I can confirm that for the past 2 generations, the first child has been a girl. Rika Furude watches over Hinamizawa. If the village were to lose her protection, what would happen? Would peace between man and demon be lost? Would it once again create a hellish landscape where man-eating demons run rampant? A gruesome feast of the demons who suddenly remembered how delicious the weak humans were, who could only cry, scream, and run for their lives. What would that look like? Just imagining it is enough to make my heart pound with excitement. Thank you, Takano.
What? Could be anyone who wrote that.
It could be anyone.
Could be anyone. Yes, that's apparently some hints as to why Rika is so, beloved by the village.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if there's no way to verify it, there's no way the village elders would necessarily know it as well. Because you feel like someone researching it could be able to verify it through the elders of the village, right?
Maybe.
So I feel like it's more that her family has that countenance and that, this is an additional thing that this researcher has found.
Maybe. Who knows?
Not to say that you're wrong, because it obviously could be that as well, but I think that the implication here is more that this is a unique extrapolation.
Sure. Yeah. I don't want to say too much, as we're in a very heavy part of the arc. So with Dawn playing in the background, as we should have for all emotional segments of this story.
Alrighty, I'm not ready to finish. This has to end now.
We are doing it now, I promise you.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Let's do it.
Pause for effect.
Yep. Oh shit.
It's a very slow intro fade.
It's that stream though. What are we doing here?
I'm spooked solid.
I thought Keiichi was dead.
Of course he's dead.
Yeah.
He's woken up in another timeline, as we discussed earlier.
I thought that was when he killed someone, not when he died.
Well, does suicide count? And if he was the one holding onto the bridge, if he lets go...
Technically, by the laws, it's like the Death Note all over again. Straight up. Let's do it. Anyway, this is you.
It is me.
It is you.
I was kind of hoping not for it to be more Keiichi monologuing, but...
I'm sorry!
I suppose...
This arc!
Have we actually had a single chapter that wasn't narrated by Keiichi, aside from the tips?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. We're very much stuck with Keiichi the whole way through because he's our main boy and Ryukishi has not experimented with multiple narrators yet so much.
Or maybe he has, and we just don't know.
Maybe Keiichi's twin brother has been
Maybe
here.
it's not Keiichi jumping timelines,
It's
but it's
Keiichi.
timelines jumping Keiichi.
Okay, that's her. I was going to say it was Skeichi, but I guess that works.
Well, that's what we refer to the alternate timeline.
Oh, I see.
Because he's from the timeline instead of the timeline.
He's from the Steiner's line?
No, just the timeline.
The Stein line. It's too bad if it was the
Skeiichi from the
Steiner's
Stein
line.
in Stin Amizawa.
Uh-huh, good. He's got to get through that gate. He's got to hack to that gate.
No, that's Skate.
He's going to hack the skate?
Yeah, everything in the alternate universe just has an S before it.
Okay, well, let's get him a mobile phone and let's get this shit going.
My Smed was spounding.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop that. That was too difficult.
Please do. I can't handle it.
The sky was bright. It was cold, too. It hurt. Each sensation I felt led to a new and different one awakening. When I came to, I was like, I can't stop smiling. I'm too excited.
But what? What's gonna happen, Felix?
See, the thing that I really want, like we've discussed having like a face cam for this series a lot and how impractical that would be. I'm very quickly getting to the point I would like to just have a camera on my hands.
I mean, same, TBH. Yeah, I see the way that you're flailing and the way that I like to grab you by the shoulders and rock you back and forth.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Can we get wrist-mounted cameras that only
That is not an
film our
inside
hands?
joke that these people need to be on board with.
But it's a good joke!
When I came to, I was lying wrist first on a dry riverbed.
He said wrist first! I'm done. I'm done.
A few body parts hurt a lot. The skin over a bunch of my joints were torn and blue or red, oozing blood.
That's not good.
You know what one of the joints in the body is, Ben? The wrist.
That's a good joint. That's my favorite joint.
I could tell that it was my bones that were in pain from the agony I felt whenever I moved. I looked up and saw how high the bridges from which I had fallen was.
The bridges? Where did that S come from?
don't know,
We're in
dude.
the alternate universe again.
Ah, the translators have gotten us again.
Considering,
I dropped from there. It was a miracle that I could open my eyes again.
It was a miracle.
do you reckon Jerry's alive in this universe?
God, no. No, he's dead. He died in this arc. He comes back next arc, not next universe.
But in the other universe, do you think he also died?
Yeah. He dies in like every other universe.
Right,
That's just
so
how that
he
works.
is the universal constant, except
Yeah.
for the one arc where he saves the world.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Right next to me was a broken, upside-down car seat, which I guess some pranksters had brought here. Maybe this thing had been conveniently lying right under me. Maybe this thing had been conveniently lying right under me, allowing me to escape instant death. Miraculous.
Miracles. They're important.
Oh, it was hard to read with a straight face.
Of course, I didn't know whether this miracle was unfortunate or fortunate. I'd failed to die, and now I was still stuck in this insane world. How long had I been unconscious for? The sun was high in the sky, so it looked like only 1 or 2 hours had passed, but my body's sluggishness didn't make it feel at all like so short a time had gone by. Mentally, it felt like I'd been asleep here for a decade.
Does it now, Keiichi?
Apparently.
I would not even be frustrated if he just went up to the village and 10 years had passed and is like,
He's got a beard.
yeah.
I was old when this world was young.
He just has a volleyball as a friend.
Yeah.
The more feeling returned to my body, the more the pain flooded in. It hurt so much it would have been better to not have woken up. I needed to get to a doctor. Yeah, to Coach's clinic.
What if he's friends with Jerry?
Who?
What? Jerry. He walks up with Jerry. The corpse.
Yeah,
He
but...
just has a good old time, you know?
Oh, right, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, rather than a volleyball, we get Jerry in.
Well, the volleyball is obviously just Jerry's decapitated head.
Oh, I see. That makes sense to me. Stuff full of crows or something. It's a metaphor.
The term coach's clinic brought memories back one after another, memories I wish I hadn't recalled. Sadako was no longer on the bridge. She would have returned to Hinamizawa by...
I read that as like Star Trek. I was like, Sadako is no longer on the bridge. The ship was flying without a captain.
She would have returned to Hinamizawa by now, and she would put on some clothes, go to the clinic, get a checkup, and report on how crazy I had seemed. The police were waiting for me without a doubt. This time, would they find out for real that I'd killed her uncle and arrest me, or would they just send me to a mental institution like I thought they might? Still, I didn't care which it was.
Wait, find out for real that I'd killed her uncle and arrest... Has he killed him now?
No.
Does he think that now that he's fallen off a bridge, it's happened, or that the resurrection's gone back? Like, does an increase in gravity inverse resurrection?
I don't think Skagey has any clue what timeline he's in anymore.
You're right.
Poor sweet baby.
Still, I didn't care which it was. Please, someone stop all this pain. You can boil me or cook me after that, whatever you want.
Inappropriate.
I began to walk unsteadily, just limping along. I went downstream and then through an animal trail-like path in the woods. I walked haphazardly, searching for a path I knew.
What if you just found Tepe's corpse?
That would be pretty great.
That would be pretty good.
Eventually, I finally came across a familiar road and said,
I'm almost disappointed that you've said that, because now it probably won't
Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry.
I finally came across a familiar...
What if it does happen? I've just forgotten.
then I'd be very grateful.
Yay!
I finally came across a familiar road and set off towards the clinic. Not to my house, but to the clinic, which had treated me like a lunatic.
Oh boy.
It was hot and humid. There was no wind and the air was stagnant.
This is very similar to the description we got at the very start of the arc.
It was.
For a while now, I've been smelling the terrible stench of burned eggs, and it made my face scrunch up.
Or it is even.
And then at last I noticed something.
What did you notice?
I couldn't hear any cicadas.
Oh, that's weird.
It was the first time I'd heard Hinamizawa be so utterly silent.
Except for that trombone or whatever in the distance. So I'm going with the trombone.
But the trombone is played by all the cicadas just in one place.
Yeah, that's how they get that much air. They have to all blow at the same time. Yeah.
When I thought back, it seemed like birds always chirped in the morning, cicadas always cried loudly in the afternoon, and Higurashi always rose up in the chorus in the evening, always something to hear.
Is that music I hear? Oh, it is.
It is, yeah.
I couldn't hear a single insect. The only thing I could hear was the rustling of the wind brushing the treetops. I'd never experienced this sort of quiet before. Even the only sound coming from the trees lacked life somehow. The trees were yellow and many leaves were spread on the ground despite it being too early for autumn.
What?
Even the weeds that had been growing so persistently at the side of the road had yellowed and browned and lost their vigor.
That's weird.
Only the sunlight itself was of the June Hinamizawa I knew. And yet it seemed like the seasons had switched all of a sudden.
What could cause that? That's weird.
Isn't it strange?
Everything's dying.
Looking at the fallen leaves and rotting weeds led me to spot a few small insects turned over on their backs. They weren't moving. They were corpses. I looked closer to see insect corpses scattered all around, like a child had collected them as samples and then strewn them about. This stench, what was it? It was terrible, like burned eggs, combined with all the bug corpses and leaves falling from the trees in summer. This is what when you put a gasoline scooter into a swamp.
This is what happens.
Destroys the village, Casey.
This is why we don't litter.
Exactly. Good campaign.
Yeah.
Send that to the government.
Environmentalism at its finest. Don't put bikes in swamps.
Had someone sprayed herbicides or pesticides around here?
Pause for effect.
Even at school, we apparently fumigate. They call it pest disinfection or something, once or twice a year. I hadn't run into anybody despite how bright it was outside. It was mid-afternoon, and yet it felt like I was sauntering about at midnight.
I were sauntering about at midnight. Thank you, translation team.
Well, with this smell, nobody would want to be walking around outside. Just what was this anyway? There was no sound, no noise, not even a breath. Hinamizawa was silent. The school would come into view right after turning this corner, yet I couldn't hear any commotion at all. None of the shouts or grunts the children always made. It was simply quiet. Just as pretending to ignore the silence had grown intolerable, I saw the school. And finally, I heard something.
What did you hear?
It was the sound of a few trucks.
Oh boy.
A few trucks, you
Just
say,
a couple,
Sketchy.
Like 3 or 4 trucks.
There are a few very tall trucks parked in the schoolyard, idling. About 10 workers in
raincoats. In raincoats!
They're wearing raincoats, dude. Don't worry
in
about
the
it.
middle of a sunny summer day, Ben!
Protect themselves from the rain.
Raincoats!
That's what they're wearing. What color are raincoats, you think?
Oh, I don't know, bright white or orange or something along those lines. Maybe
yellow or
yellow with a bit of black trim around the gloves.
They're definitely raincoats.
Oh.
I love playing this game with you, Felix. This is great. They're wearing raincoats to protect themselves from the rain. No comment.
I am so frustrated, and I don't know whether it's with myself or the story.
It's definitely the story.
About 10 workers in raincoats were
think it's
unloading
Keiichi,
things from
actually.
their trunks.
I think it's
It was
Keiichi.
hot and humid. Even in my casual clothing, I couldn't imagine how unbearable that must have been. And then I remembered. Our school was rented from the Forest Service Field Office building, wasn't it? It wasn't strange at all for Forest Service trucks to be doing some kind of work in the schoolyard.
Yeah, that sounds pretty normal.
You know, trees, famed for being the source of rain in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
Besides, what did forest rangers do anyway? I felt bad for them having to work in such heat and with such a stench about. They were taking colorful cargo out of the truck and lining it up in the schoolyard. They were containers, fairly large ones, inside multicolored patchwork bags. Heavy too, they were being carried in pairs. They lined them up very neatly, like tuna at a riverside fish market. Several dozens, hundreds of tuna were completely filling the fairly wide schoolyard up. I forgot my pain for a little while, captivated by this big forest ranger job I'd never seen before.
Ryukashi.
Tunas.
You fucking mad
It's great.
man.
I love the way he's describing this. This is fantastic.
As I stood there watching in a daze, the people in raincoats working on the other side noticed me. One of them pointed me out and they shouted a few things back and forth. I thought they might yell at me for getting in their way, so I decided to leave post-haste. But then 2 trucks drove up behind me. I stepped aside and they entered the schoolyard. Sheets covered their trunks, but I could tell they were completely full. As they passed, there was an awful smell that made me want to choke.
Yeah, that tuna is off, dude. That tuna is gone bad.
It wasn't the same burned egg smell as before, but an even worse one, like rotten crab meat.
You could eat that. You could can it up and eat it.
What on earth was it? I'd been enshrouded in one terrible stench after another all day.
Should have given Keiichi a South African accent and just replaced it with prawns.
No, you can't.
Then the certain white letters emblazoned on the side of the passing trucks caught my eye.
I just,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
I'm upset.
Why?
I'm mad.
Why are you upset?
Moving on.
Okay.
Ground Self-Defense Forces.
SCF, let's go.
What? Self-defense forces like the army? Why was the army in the schoolyard?
Who fucking knows? Hey, where'd you come from?
Suddenly someone slapped me on the shoulders from behind. I turned around and a canopied SDF Jeep was parked there. The SDF person had on a green raincoat and a gas mask like in the movies, carrying a compressed air cylinder. He didn't look normal. There wasn't an inch of exposed skin anywhere. Where did I... When I tried to talk, I stretched a wound on my head. I made the SDF people exchange glances. I couldn't see their faces through their masks, but they seemed surprised.
Do you live in Namizawa? Can you tell us your name and address?
Well, yeah, I sort of live here. My name is Skeiichi Maebara. Oh, and my address is redacted.
So I couldn't hear that. Could you speak up?
Shishibone. After seeing me tell him my name and address without hesitation, one of the SDF people watching from the Jeep started talking into a radio.
Base, do you read? Base, do you read? We have a 402. Survivor discovered. I repeat, we have a 402. We found a survivor. He's in front of the Forest Service office. This is Base. We copy. Secure the survivor at once. What is his status? Healthy. Wounded all over, but not fatally. He can walk on his own. We'll send him to HQ for safety.
I was prepared to go along with the police, but the SDF... couldn't help but think it seemed a little bit much. They urged me into the back of the Jeep.
Oh boy.
And then they told me to put on this gigantic gas mask. I did so, and one of the troops fiddled around with it, strapping it tightly to me. It was heavy, hard to see out of, hot and difficult to breathe. Just looking at the world through the lenses made it lose its sense of reality. My breathing sounded like some giant monster through the mask. At this point, I had no idea what was happening. With much trepidation, I asked the trooper adjusting the mask. Excuse me, has something happened?
Where were you? What were you doing?
You don't answer a question with more questions. I was the one asking you. I fell from a rope bridge way back in the mountains. I think I passed out in the riverbed. I don't actually know what day it is.
Today is June 22nd, 1983, Wednesday.
That surprised me. Sadako pushed me off the bridge on Tuesday the 21st. That meant I'd been asleep on that riverbed for an entire day. Forgive me for asking again, but did something happen? Why is the SDF here? Is this a drill? Had my questions been that difficult for him? None of the troopers would answer me.
That's not a Jeep.
Nah, that's always his car.
The one in the driver's seat, talking on his own radio, turned to the vehicles. He turned the dial and some broadcast station or another came in. I started to listen to the voice of a radio announcer I was familiar with.
What? Can we bring up the boy?
Oh.
Can we bring him up?
He's ready at all times.
Good.
He's
I'm glad.
always ready to go.
This is gonna be perfect.
One time I was in, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
So,
See here now. Cleveland, Ohio.
Live in Ohio.
Nightclub.
Conducted at the Prime Minister's office. Yeah, there we go. I get it.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah. So as I was saying, well, it's conducted at the Prime Minister's office in regards to questions from the press that the SDF not responding to the disaster promptly was directed related to this unprecedented, unheard of catastrophe. Chief Cabinet Secretary Okino had this to say.
And so I believe that once the SDF received the dispatch order from the prefectural governor, they responded promptly.
Oh, yes.
And according to him, the SDF was prompt to respond to the crisis after receiving their orders. He implied that it was the prefecture's responsibility for taking too long to comprehend the situation. When did the governor who requested the SDF's dispatch actually become aware of the outbreak of such an unprecedented catastrophe? And did he not invite further damage because of the time lost before he sent the request for disaster relief? In other words, because of the bureaucracy. We are awaiting further investigation into the matter.
That was Mr. Okina reporting from the Prime Minister's official residence. At this point, we can take another look at the political response following this disaster. This disaster in a place that might be significant to the story.
I feel like you're trying to hint at a name that I'm unaware of.
That's right, we'll get there.
Okay.
In the middle of the night between June 21st and June 22nd, a large-scale disaster broke out in Inamizawa village, Shishibone. The details have not yet been investigated, but there was an eruption of volcanic gas from somewhere in the Inamizawa area.
It was the bike in the swamp.
There it is. The gas was relatively heavy, and as it spewed out, it began to flow. That flow went down along a small river and headed directly into Inamizawa village. After a few hours, it had covered the entire region. It happened in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Every home and household in the village was afflicted. With most of the residents asleep, it is thought that all died without noticing the crisis. The catastrophe striking in the middle of the night caused its detection to come too late. But there was still one small opportunity to have noticed it. 3 a.m. A news dealer's shop in Okonomiya sent a vehicle carrying the morning newspaper to its branch office in Namizawa. Usually the shop would be contacted upon the vehicle's arrival, but this morning that didn't happen. The news dealer's shop made repeated calls but got no response. The shopkeeper sent his eldest son to check on things, but he lost contact with him as well. It is extremely regrettable. If they had contacted the police or fire department at this point, it is highly possible the situation would have turned out more positively. At the very least, it's possible that a portion of the village might have been saved from tragic annihilation. 6 a.m. Residents in areas in the same region began continuously calling 119 to report the smell of rotten eggs, dizziness, nausea, and headaches. The fire department received the same reports, all from the same confined region. They speculate a truck loaded with chemicals may have gotten into an accident and reported it to the local police. 6:30 a.m.
Why would they suspect a truck loaded with chemicals, Ben?
6:30 a.m. Contact was lost with a patrol car on duty in the Namizawa area after the officer reported the smell of rotten eggs. The local police considered the possibility of a large-scale disaster involving highly lethal gas and reported the prefecture and the prefectural police at 7:15 a.m. At 8 a.m., the governor was traveling to nearby prefectures for inspections, but in accordance with regulations, the prefectural environmental disaster prevention chief was provisionally escalated to Director General and set up a disaster countermeasures office. However, without contacting the governor, the countermeasures came too late. As has recently been pointed out by citizens groups, his trip with honorary Diet members to inspect other prefectures was based solely on good relations, and it's rumored that preoccupied themselves with a drinking party. Sources close to him claimed the governor had been drinking all night and had gone to sleep in a drunken state. He was completely drunk when the environmental chief phoned him as well, and apparently he could not get him to pay any attention to the matter, like a bloody idiot! Bloody drongo! And so it took about an It took about an hour for the governor to sober up, gain an understanding of the situation, and gather information.
This entire page is utterly inane. If this isn't a conspiracy.
It's all important, dude. Though not as extreme as the governor's case, the environmental chief who became director general in the governor's absence will likely also be questioned about his negligence. In addition, without any procedures in place on the prefecture's side that predicted catastrophes this massive, they would always react too late, and that ended up being fatal. For literally everybody. 9:12 a.m. On the advice of the prefectural police, the governor requested a disaster relief mission from the SDF. By the time the Chemical Defense Unit, equipped with protective equipment, arrived on the scene, 8 hours had already passed since the incident's outbreak. Whatever the case may be, it was unfortunate this happened while everyone was sleeping in the middle of the night. Had the same disaster occurred during the day, it likely would have been entirely different. All households in the Hinamizawa village region were wiped out. There were over 1,000 victims. The SCF is still confirming the situation on the ground, but their results are predicted to only increase that number. Here with us in the studio today is Dr. Fujiwara, a professor at Blank University who is well acquainted with volcanic disasters. Doctor, can such a sudden and horrible outburst of poisonous gas actually happen?
It isn't at all unusual for this to happen right around craters, at least.
Oh, yes?
Japan is a volcanic nation and so has many active volcanoes. There's always a danger of hazardous gas around any of these craters, and it's generally a rule among mountain climbers to not go near them.
Very interesting. Does this mean the rotten egg smell that visited Hinamizawa village was the normal sort of gas for volcanic craters?
Judging by how it smelled like rotten eggs, we think it was hydrogen sulfide, a gas seen particularly frequently at accidents compared to other volcanic gases. If it's dense, it becomes extremely dangerous.
Hinamizawa village is very far from the craters of any volcanoes. Can hydrogen sulfide be generated even from a place not close to a crater?
That's what I want to know.
I don't know all the details, so I can't say anything concrete, but in other countries, there are records of gas eruptions due to magma buildup under hot springs. It's an extremely rare event, but it is possible for such a thing to happen, even in a region not near craters.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We appear to have an announcement for the Japan Defense Agency. Miss Murakawa, are you there?
Yes, I'm at the Japan Defense Agency.
Thank you.
The agency has just made an announcement regarding the source of the Hinamizawa village gas disaster.
Oh boy.
Analysis from the Ground Self-Defense Forces Department of Chemistry has found that the gas was a mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide.
Miss Murakawa, do you know whether the gas is still erupting or spreading to nearby areas?
According to the SDF's 9th Division, who are currently engaged in a rescue operation at Hinamizawa village, the gas density is steadily decreasing. They've announced that the damage will not spread, however it does not change the fact the surrounding areas are still in danger and that very strict observation must be maintained.
That was Murakawa from the Japan Defense Agency, and now we have a report on the state of those who have been made to evacuate from the Okinomi area. Oh god, Shimoshinozaki Elementary School is one of the evacuation sites, and we currently have a reporter on scene. I'm gonna be flying away.
Wait a minute! What?
The bees!
Inside the Jeep, clambering and bouncing along the road, none answered my muttered question.
As the bees took over the radio station.
An unprecedented catastrophe had destroyed Hinamizawa in a single night. Where was Hinamizawa village anyway? Someplace deep in the mountains, right? Names of places I'd heard about on the radio were always like that. They're all places I'd never heard of, much less knew the locations of. Wiped out? What does that mean? Don't they usually say how many died and how many were injured?
But they did, Keiichi. They said at least 1,000
Thousands
casualties.
people died.
Come on,
Yeah.
Keiichi.
How many people were alive? Where did everyone evacuate to?
They just
He
said.
didn't listen, did he?
He wasn't paying attention at all.
wasn't paying any
He was
attention.
paying attention to that wasp in his ear.
Eventually, we came into view of Coach's clinic. For the first time, I saw the flag of Japan hanging on a pole outside. Japan's circular sun hung down as though exhausted. Many SDF tents were set up in the clinic's big parking lot, and many strict security vehicles were parked there as well. When we saw the Jeep coming, men in white clothing and gas masks came running out of the clinic, frantic, carrying a stretcher.
You're going to be all right. How do you feel? Can you walk?
Yes! Ow.
You definitely cannot walk.
And because of my ows, they forced me to lay in the stretcher anyway.
Judging by the fact that he says he's in pain, put him on a stretcher.
People who seemed like doctors were looking at me and notifying others of my condition via radio.
Multiple wounds, high possibility of fractures and internal damage, large laceration in the head, pupils normal, but even without bleeding from the fundus, brain damage is still possible.
I do like the idea, well, when I say like, I'm horrified by the idea of the fact that he has like a massive laceration on the head and like, let's just put a gas mask over the top of it and it's like sinking into the wound.
Yeah. That's fine.
Even without bleeding from the fundus.
The fundus! Brain damage is still possible.
And then from the clinic entrance, people lying on stretchers were brought outside to replace me.
What?
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 Replace me. Oh. Victims.
What does he mean, replace me?
Yeah, from the clinic entrance, people lying on stretchers were brought outside to replace me. So they're being taken into the truck or whatever, yes.
I guess that's really weird.
I don't know.
Judging by their clothing, they were from Hinamazar, and that's how I knew they were victims. They brought the stretchers in front of a truck. 2 troops holding shoulders and legs like some kind of baggage picked them up and threw them into the trunk. In the trunk of the truck, people's bodies piled in heaps. They were just like baggages. They were just like baggage, and that told me they were already nothing but shells.
Yeah. Remember that tuna?
Of course I remember the tuna, Ben.
Yeah.
At that moment, I remembered all those colorful sacks filling the trunks and them lined up in the schoolyard like a fish market. Hundreds of empty shells. Corpses. 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 Corpses.
Corpses?
Precious.
Corpses.
I do like the idea that we're sticking with the crab illusion here.
Yeah.
The crab meat, empty shells.
Delicious crab meat.
Fish markets.
Yeah.
You jackasses, don't just throw the victims in like that. They lived here. The troops carrying the sacks answered me with a humble salute.
The world didn't need this insane version of Hinamizawa.
My final wish. Again. It was granted.
We're going to Gray.
Yeah, boys.
I didn't understand anything anymore. None of it mattered. I wished I cursed and then it happened the next day. And please, tomorrow morning, let me die. That insane night. It's still going on, please. Please end it already.
Well,
Here we are.
here we are.
Some kind of disaster happening.
Still not dead!
Hey! He's lost consciousness! Shout his name! Quickly, throw some water on him or something!
Sketchy!
Maya-Barakun! Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just blink! Maya-Barakun! Maya-Barakun! Maya-Barakun!
Suddenly, the world didn't matter to me anymore.
Whoosh.
I wasn't interested in their cries.
His breathing stopped! Get his respiratory tract open! Use CPR! Make him live, damn it! Damn it! No more! No more dead people! Nobody deserves to die! Don't kill him! Don't kill him!
I could hear the voice of a man crying and screaming in my ears. Nobody deserves to die. Those words came from his heart. They were so commonplace, and they soaked into my heart too. Maybe it was a mistake to take someone's life, even if it was to save Sadako.
If this is the price I had to pay, this is horrible tragedy. And this is a little much, Oyashiro-sama. Why did you never punish me?
Yeah, fuck you!
Come to think of it, Sadako said something. Oyashiro-sama's actual curse never goes for the target at first, but kills everyone they love before that. Oyashiro-sama's curse. It was a convenient excuse I told myself at the very end, that it wasn't my curse that destroyed it, but Oyashiro-sama's. Given that I was in a stretcher, this next bit might have been obvious, but last of all I realized one thing. Yeah. Today, I had not heard those footsteps following me. Even once.
It was really uncomfortable to read at the pace that printed.
And now I was liberated. And as the cries of the Higurashi I couldn't have been hearing filled my mind. Their tearful ensemble was the only funeral march I had.
Liberation!
There he goes.
And is that a chibi dude in a gas mask?
Is that one of the dudes from the Sexy Brutal?
June 22nd, 1983, early morning, widespread disaster
Hey!
occurred in Hinamizawa
Hey!
village, Shishibari.
She's my prefecture! Volcanic gas, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide erupted from Okanufushi swamp, one of the area's water source and spread to the entire village.
I just had to do it
There
quickly.
were 1,200 victims! That's a lot. 20 have gone missing.
20.
Who were they, though? The catastrophe was unprecedented, forcing local governments to evacuate approximately 600,000 people. Pretty big. According to later investigations, magma pools and hot springs were uncovered directly under Nagafuchi Swamp, and the gas that gushed from it was determined to be the cause of the disaster. I'm actually reading too fast now, which is good. I like that. Efficiency. In addition, directly after the incident broke out, many came forth claiming this disaster was a curse based on Miyazawa village legends, first sparking a wave of chaos. There are apparently local legends of a curse spreading in miasma, destroying the village, and some scholars believe a similar gas disaster may have happened in the past and remain part of these legends. Miasma boy, there it is. More extreme periodicals suggested this was an extension of the string of freak death incidents that had been happening in recent years in Namizawa village, stirring interest in theories about this curse of Higurashi. In addition, relatives of those in Namizawa village who had escaped disaster complained of sickness afterwards and were hospitalized. Some of them even died of unknown causes, further encouraging such extreme opinions. On top of that, several relatives professing to be possessed by Higurashi's curse commit suicide in strange ways, and the impact the disaster has had on the entire nation can no longer be ignored. Wild visions of terrible toxic gas sneaking around in the middle of the night, killing people, spilled across the country, causing a steady stream of people complaining of insomnia, difficulty breathing, headache, dizziness, etc. Some who identified themselves as being obsessed by it began doing odd things. Most of these were mistakenly attributed by the tabloid press. But afterward, some even began to call the mental issues arising from the Hinamizawa tragedy the Hinamizawa syndrome!
It has a name!
The Hinamizawa village region, the object of all kinds of rumors and speculation, is currently closed off, and even flying overhead is prohibited because of the gas. The prohibition was at one point undone as a result of a decrease in the gas density, but that autumn another gas burst was confirmed, leading to the area being cordoned off again. Word is that the area was sound asleep, all trace of its former life intact and left to rot. There's a bit of an escalation from the last chapter, I feel.
Just a tiny one.
Only one survivor remains! Keiichi Maebara, age 1 redacted, who lived at blank in Namizawa village. At the time of rescue, he had some trouble breathing due to fluid buildup in his lungs, but as a result of life-saving procedures, he was kept alive. He's currently in a general hospital somewhere in the prefecture. The press have been asking for him for some time, but all interviews are being refused. What did he see in Namizawa? What happened between June 21st and June 22nd in Hinamizawa village?
That's a familiar statement.
Today he remains silent, unwilling to speak of it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm out of breath. Great Hinamizawa disaster in memoriam list.
Oh, that was actually words. That wasn't.
You probably should have read that. That's okay. You can always go back.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's the death list.
Shit, a mysterious. What the fuck?
Should I go to death of the mountains? I wish she went missing during investigation.
Why is all of the text
Kumatami went
jumbled?
missing during it. I don't know, dude. You figure it out, nerd. Irie possibly committed suicide for a murder at the shrine. No, Rita died. Fuck you, game.
In the Great Hinamizawa disaster.
Fuck you. They all died.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
No, Rita lived, bitch. Just you don't see her that she
Went
lived.
missing They
all went missing, died in an accident.
And his,
Commander died! No! Baseball man! Kasai died in the hospital, and as did Shion. She committed suicide, Maebara committed suicide, diagnosed with mental disorders, and no interviews, and then a bunch of other shit.
All the text jumbled.
Because this is Ryukishi's thing.
Who did this?
Have you noticed, Felix, that there are some other bits of text that are like that?
Where?
You'll have to find them. Good luck. You haven't noticed them in editing? I am shocked. Anyway, there's the credits. We get something really fun. This is the first time Ryukishi's ever done it. He's given us a list of all the deaths that occur in the novel, which is really cool of him. Though honestly, I would like for them to go a little bit slower. And shout out to BT.
Yes.
Rest in peace, my boy.
Mini games?
Yeah, there are mini games. I have them if you'd like to play them and do like a bonus
they're like
video.
a side product?
They
Okay.
are, yeah. There's one where you have to block all of Rena's punches, but she punches. It's really fast, so you have to like click on the punches as they come. It's great.
Oh wait, I think I do know where the jumbled text is.
Yeah, do you know? I feel like you would have brought it up before if you'd figured it out, but it exists. It's a thing.
I need to go back and check.
You do.
But it's towards the start of the arc, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. Anyway, that's it. Oh, no, it's not it. 2003 late summer.
Oh my god.
He refuses to die.
It is his
Maybe.
superpower.
An elderly couple living in Osaka Prefecture discovered a cassette tape while organizing the possessions of their son, who passed away 8 years ago. Their son went missing when his fishing boat capsized in 1995. He was 47 at the time of his death. 8 years later, in 2003, they had begun to organize their son's remains in order to organize their minds and came across the cassette tape in question. From 1975 to 1989, the deceased had experience working as a journalist for a photography periodical, and this tape is thought to have been created during that time. The label on the tape read 11/28/1983 Keiichi Maebara. It is thought the tape was recorded during an interview with Keiichi Maebara, the only survivor of the great Hinamizawa disaster that occurred in June of 1983. As the only person who lived through the disaster on the night of June 21st, shrouded in mystery, many interested parties attempted to question him, but he never once spoke physically to anyone in a public place. Therefore, the tape caused quite a stir, possibly being of extremely high value. It's true, getting on them disaster victims, that's how it goes. Click!
It's really hard to talk about stuff when I know I'm being recorded.
Please, don't worry about it. Here, it won't be a problem if I do this, right?
After this, the sound quality dramatically decreases. Did he cover the recording device with something?
Then let's get started. Here's my first question. Keiichi-kun, where were you the night of the great disaster?
Keiichi-kun?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not Renner, sadly.
I had gone behind the shrine and then took a path through the woods for a while. There's a rope bridge there, a little while before you get into the mountains. I fell from there and lost consciousness.
Did this happen during the night of the disaster between the 21st and the 22nd?
No, it was the morning of the 21st on Tuesday, which means I woke up the afternoon of the next day. I think I was out for a day and a half.
Why on earth were you there? I mean, I'm sure everyone wants to know, but the bridge you fell from that day, a weekday I might add, was quite far from both your house and the school, wasn't it? Speaking frankly, there are some who say you knew of the great disaster beforehand and fell from the rope bridge as you were trying to flee the village.
This isn't a joke. Please don't be so arbitrary about this.
I think it's a terrible thing to say too. Please, don't be offended. Anyway, about the rope bridge you fell from, it was right here on the map, right? The rope bridge beyond the back of the shrine and through the path of the woods.
Probably. I never went over there, so I can't say for sure.
I guess I just want to know why you were out somewhere you'd never been before on a weekday morning. And then, about the riverbed you fell unconscious on, have you heard the rumors about that being impossible?
Uh-huh. Impossible.
That word.
That word, again. Again.
For a little while, Keiichi Maebara mutters the word impossible several times.
Why would it be impossible?
You know how the volcanic gas originated in the Onigafuchi swamp? Some scholars did some pretty delicate simulations and modeling and discovered something very interesting. The volcanic gas was heavier than the air, so it went along the ground, flowing into lower and lower places, kind of like what water does. And with Onigafuchi swamp as its source, they were able to test how much time it would take for the gas to erupt and spread across the whole village. So, well, that riverbed you were unconscious on, the gas, it would have flowed down there.
I don't really understand what you're getting at.
Or in other words, if you were really passed out on that riverbed, you would have been in the middle of all the toxic gas that was spreading everywhere that night. That means there was no chance you could have passed out there. Allow me to be a little bit more frank. I think that maybe you might be telling a lie. During the Great Disaster, you were hiding in a safe place, keeping an eye out for when the gas got thinner, then reappeared and was secured by the SDF. How about that? Is that right on the mark? For a short time, the journalist presses Keiichi Maebara further, in a teasing way, but all that can be heard are heavy sighs.
This is one of these things that when Keiichi woke on the riverbed, I was like... And then we got to the, gas thing, I was like...
Science!
No.
Science, though!
It's lovely. I'm thoroughly enthralled.
Even if that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
What do you mean you wouldn't be surprised?
I wouldn't put it past Ryukishi.
Was this recording really taken of Keiichi Maebara? Some harbor suspicions.
You said it before, didn't you, that it was impossible. Impossible things happen in that Hinamizawa all the time. There are people who shouldn't exist. Dead people end up alive. It's not really that unusual. Never thought I, of all people, would be asked to prove that I was still alive when I was supposed to have died.
The journalist and Keiichi Maibara both laughed for a while, one more uncomfortably than the other. To verify his authenticity, I had others in the Maibara family check tapes with his voice in it. However, the sound was not clear, and much time had passed. The relatives I checked with couldn't remember what he sounded like. I was unable to gain positive proof it was actually Keiichi Maibara's voice. Alright then, I'll change the subject. What do you think of the debate about whether this disaster was the curse, the 5th year of the serial freak death incidents in Hinamizawa?
I don't think it was. I was the curse that year after all.
Huh? What do you mean?
I was just answering the question.
Doubts also remain regarding the date 11/28 written on the tape.
Well, the curse, well, you probably won't believe me when I tell you this. I was the one who caused it. I was the one who wished for the whole village to die, and it happened.
What an exciting story.
Exciting? I suppose you could call it that.
After Maibara Keiichi's failed suicide attempt on a certain August day 2 months after the disaster, he was diagnosed with a mental disorder and transported to a treatment facility.
I was the one who killed Takano-san and Coach Inuishi too. At the time I had some kind of divine power. Yeah, I suppose it was like footsteps.
Footsteps? Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Have you never heard footsteps before? Tip tap, click click.
The facility never allowed any news coverage, so it is extremely unlikely that a tape from the media dated after August 1983 would have his voice on it.
Today, when you're walking around, try stopping suddenly. Something interesting will happen. Anyway, if you hear an extra footstep, even though you'd already stopped walking, you'd better be careful, you know?
Yeah, I'll be careful.
Is what I'm saying really that funny to you?
However, the reporter had been criticized for his forceful methods of collecting data while he was active, so there is still a possibility that he broke into the facility and forced Keiichi Maibara to talk.
You've been doing nothing but laugh in my face this whole time. You're just like Coach. You pretend to sympathize with me to listen to what I have to say, but your eyes are telling me you think I'm a lunatic.
That's not true.
No, I can tell. Your eyes are the same as Coach's.
Is this truly Keiichi Maibara's voice? The authenticity of this recording is still wrapped in mystery.
I never heard the footsteps again after that day, so I don't think I have that terrible power anymore. Perhaps right here, right now, I'll wish for you to die. I'll wish for your death, for saying all these unpleasant things. Yes, this time, why don't I decide how you die? Takano-san was burned to death, so let's go the opposite, with water. I hope you drown and die, how's that?
15 years after this tape was created, the reporter, just as Keiichi Maibara had predicted, died in an accident out on the sea.
If I'm in top form, like I was then, you'd die before tomorrow morning for sure. Now then, I wonder how many days it will take for you to drown. You better be careful, you know. Don't go getting yourself killed by some stupid curse I put on you, okay?
It's still printing, and I didn't have enough air to continue.
That's alright. That's right. We can always edit in more laughter.
Thank you.
The recording ends in the middle of Keiichi Maibara's laughter. And Keiichi Maibara.
Uh-huh. Do go
One
on.
word, please. I just want to be one word. Ah, God. Late on the night of 11th of the 30th, 1983, 2 days after the interview, he suddenly died from a high fever, cause unknown. Records remained of the strange words he kept giving after pressing the call button the day before he died.
What were those words, Strange Records?
An extra set of footsteps.
I guess he heard them again. Well.
Is that it?
Well, then.
That must be it. It's taken a long time to fade out.
Well, then.
Is that all the stuff we're getting for this arc?
Well, then. There it is. We're
Yay! We made it.
Higurashi when they cry.
That was great. Oh, I love that.
We've done it.
Yeah, we made it to the end. I mean, you know, all class review session and recaps, but still plenty more Higurashi for you nerds out there. But we have unlocked a new scenario.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
It's gonna let me. Come on.
We'll get there.
There we go. The Great Hinamizawa Disaster.
Yeah,
Achievement unlocked.
That was it. We made it. The cassette tape and everything.
Now, the first time the Great Hinamizawa name was mentioned was in all that broken text in the credits, I think.
Maybe.
Which is interesting.
It's weird. I know, dude. Might have to go over the tapes on that one, if you know what I mean.
A lot of over the tapes doing.
Go over. Pardon me. Go over the cassette tapes.
Thank you.
Hey, we got Bisco back, and she definitely died this time.
Yep. Sorry.
Thank you very much for enjoying Higurashi when that Cry Chapter 3 Higurashi. How did you like it? It had a different sort of atmosphere in the previous chapters.
Pun,
Didn't you enjoy it? I'll be very happy if you enjoyed it. Star!
The bad end again, the type which we're so fond of, huh?
Star!
Personally, I wanted to get a scene of the gas coming in, the villagers spasming and foaming at the mouths one by one before dying. Do you all think so too?
No!
Of course I do not think so. Again. It happened again.
Huge bad end. More laughter, come on.
Huh? Mi-chan, you sure seem happy about the bad end.
Well,
Hey!
It's more like we all can honestly... Well, it's more like all we can honestly do at this point is laugh.
I feel ya. The terrible endings have been escalating to each chapter, and it finally reached a culmination, I suppose. Everyone died together as friends.
Except you.
Me as friends. Nipa star. I guess you could say that. I die every time though, and I'm a little tired of it.
Sorry, my dude, it's gonna keep happening.
I'm sorry. It would be nice to have an ending where I didn't die once in a while.
Tomotage.
Flash!
Kind of like a news reporter. Pause.
For effects.
Drowned.
What?
When you die, it's like, oh, in the second half now. Kind of.
Yeah. He fucking dies every time. Okay, now here are all the new character portraits that debuted in this chapter. Everyone give a big round of applause. First, Coach, Irie Kyosuke-san.
Is that also the name of the character from Little Busters?
It is.
Thank you.
The leader of the Little Buses.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored to have your introduction. Hello there. I was a minor character, but having a full portrait like this makes me feel really important. Yeah.
It's true. You had too many appearances and too much dialogue to be a minor character this time.
Star. I don't know if I'll appear in the next scenario, so please root for me. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Chi-sensei, who has been around since chapter 1 but never had a portrait until now.
Hello there, everyone. They've had me appear in school scenes ever since the first chapter, but for whatever reason, I didn't have my own portrait.
Her budget.
I wonder why.
Her budget. Yes, I wonder. Oh, someone please get Chi-sensei out of here, please. Get her off screen.
Okay, now everybody is here. Rena, you can do the honors again.
Okay, everyone. Please pick up the cup nearest you on your table. There are plenty of different drinks.
Now I can't hit next.
I got you.
Hold on.
I need to do it. This,
No, you take.
I'll take the cup?
Yeah, thanks.
Alright, I'll hold your cup for you. Now I'm holding 2 cups.
He's holding 2 cups for me.
These after parties have really gotten lively. How many do we have here now?
Including us, I think there are about 10 people.
Man, that's so many characters. You couldn't possibly have any more than that in a series. Now, we finally have the same number of minors and adults. We can all drink without being ashamed.
Speaking of beer, how is that something so delicious when cold turns so bad when warm? One of the 7 wonders of the world, I say.
She really just can't stop being evil as hard as she tries.
She's such a good lady, though.
I wonder why.
Okay, I'll pour some beer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? There were 6 adults here. Meep. I would like the foamy barley tea as well.
The foamy barley tea!
That's what it is. Rika-chan, you can drink.
Anyway, Rena-san, let's get this moving.
Well, okay. Can I have everyone's attention, please?
All right, everyone. Excellent work on the Higurashi chapter. Cheers.
Cheers.
Blink.
Yeah, we did.
We did it. And now we drink.
Yep, down the whole thing.
Woo! We did it. Pachi, pachi, pachi.
Yes, that sound.
Okay, then. Let's get down to our traditional plot discussion.
Traditional plot discussion.
See, though, this chapter just confused us yet again.
Did it, right?
My goodness, Ryukishi really is a good writer. He's so smart. Well, if anyone has an opinion, please raise your hand.
Wow, everyone's being so discreet. No hands. None of you have hands.
Then why don't I break the ice? Oh, excuse me, could you change the music, please?
What?
There's something a little more mysterious.
God damn it, Takano!
Yes, that's good.
It's getting better. The mood has been set, and the pieces are moving. All right, Takano-san, take it away.
I think that just by poring over the Higurashi story, the mystery won't be revealed.
I know what you mean. Obviously, that's how the stories have been set up.
Was there something like that in particular?
I don't know if I'm right, but in Onikakushi, when Mahabara-kun was eating in the restaurant with Oishi-san, Sanozaki-san found out, and it was a little mysterious, right?
It was certainly mysterious just in Onikakushi, but after reading Watanagashi, a few things made a lot of sense. I do like that as the, like, you know, in case you didn't get that one.
Yeah, there's a little hint for you. I also like that they're explicitly calling out, like, you should reread the previous chapters or, like, check your notes, which he hasn't really done so far at all. It's interesting. A bit of a trend. When I mentioned the restaurant with Kyoto uniforms during the story, it must have been Angel Mart. And the Angel Mart is owned by the Sonozaki family, so...
Someone who knew Kei-chan was there too and told me. It actually makes a good amount of sense, right? I feel like this has gone from good to far too on the nose, but...
A little bit on the nose, it's fine.
That's what we mean.
It's for the people who don't get it.
Yes.
There are subtle differences in the Higurashi stories, but I think...
Subtle differences!
I think there's 3 facets that are the same for each. The character settings, for example. I was scared of Onikakushi, but that wasn't only because it was Onikakushi. It was because my character was the exact same in all 3 stories. Is that it? I agree with the characters being exactly the same. The most extreme case being me dying in the same way in the same place every time. Rather rubbish, that. No matter which story it is, you always die on the same day.
It's a scene where during Watanagashi, Takano-san and Toмотaki-san
Flash!
sneak into the ritual implement storehouse. The same scene may have still happened in the other stories, even though it wasn't portrayed.
I think it still happened, save for a few events. The weather the day of the festival, what we did in the club, and Sako's uncle come home, it's almost all the same. Which means we have a bunch more questions. If the stories are told in exactly the same environment each time, why do they end up being so different? Why am I so sometimes? If we think in a general sound novel type of way, sometimes the story branches depending on choices, right?
So like if in Watanagashi you had given the doll to my sister. An unavoidable bad end from a choice so early on, that's pretty scary.
Well, in Higurashi, maybe whether you decide to kill the uncle or not.
I think it was way before that. I think it branched back when the uncle's lover disappeared because of some trouble and he returned to Hinamizawa.
Crazy. Then what was the first branch in Onikakushi? I think it was when I appeared and started talking about the serial freak death incident related to Oyashiro-sama's curse.
You know, I just thought of something. If Keiichi-san gave the doll to Mion-san, and if Uishi-san and my uncle hadn't appeared, would we have not have spent our time in peace without anything happening?
I see, Sadako's gotten right to the point. You're right. You can say that again. I can't wait for next arc to just be exactly that, but everything still goes wrong.
Then maybe we should pray Uishi-san and her uncle don't show up in this dark story, and then if we can prevent Sonozaki-san from getting in a bad mood, everyone will be happy.
Yay, big sis, you're needed for the bad ending. Be careful, everyone. If you make my sister mad, you're sure to get a bad end. What are you saying? Shion, next time I'll pound nails into you without mercy. Bang, bang. Just you wait.
Get him! We can't solve any of the mysteries thus far, but we seem to have put together a plan for how to get the story to end happily.
Thank goodness.
I wonder if that would really make us happy. Uishi-san and Tepe Hojo-san don't show up. Mion-san gets the doll. Is that all we have to do to make sure of? You're right. We're all forgetting the most important thing. Remember, the Great Inamizawa disaster.
You cannot prevent natural disasters. Should we have everyone in the village put on gas masks and move away?
Sounds good to me. It's probably Arishiro-sama's curse, so we need to make sure not to make Arishiro-sama angry. This is getting a little bit tricky. We must thank Arishiro-sama, eh? And what should we do in order to prevent that?
The dam project itself is probably out of the question. Maybe if there was never a dam project in the first place.
That breathy voice, though.
That would be hard. If it didn't happen, we wouldn't need a ritual to quell Arishiro-sama's anger.
Sinking a sacrifice into Onikafuchi Swamp, a ritual sacrifice.
A sacrifice? Who do we sacrifice?
Come on, use your head. Someone who dies no matter what happens. If he's gonna die anyway, then we might as well have it help out Hinamizawa.
A bag of dicks. When you say dies no matter what, you're talking about me, aren't you?
We're talking about Keiichi, obviously. Come on.
I knew all along. I knew you had some very important role in the story, Jiro-san. We get you to play your part.
Star. And with that, we have a blueprint for getting a nice, happy, good ending, don't we?
This is not going to go well.
It's gonna be good. Let's give it a try since we have time. Everyone involved, come over here.
What?
First, we stop on Uncle Hojo.
I was hoping we were actually gonna get an arc.
Oh, it's happening. First, we stop Uncle Hojo, whose lover ran out on him from returning to Inamizawa. Hiya! My name's Uncle Hojo. He has no portrait, so I'm standing in, Star. I'm so lonely and blue because my lover ran away. Oh, time to go back to Inamizawa. Look up Uncle-chan. I race into my main servant. Why don't I take my motorbike back? I just put in the key and click. Click. Kaboom!
Judgment! To ashes and dust you shall return!
Bam! Nailed it! Sadako-chan, don't you think this is a little too much gunpowder? I hope Coach alright. Sweat.
Sweat?
Next, we stop Oishi from showing up. Oh, me this time. My name is Oishi Star, a hot, good-looking middle-aged man who looks like a blues singer. Also very intelligent and humble.
Do you reckon he moons light as a blues singer?
I hope so. I hope that's his backstory. Kaboom! Meep. Judgment for you.
And lest we forget, a follow-up service from my sister.
Don't blow her up.
Come here, big sis. There's a cute little doll for you.
Star.
Oh, how nice.
Don't blow her up.
I'm not really understanding this.
And finally, we must quell Arishiro-sama's anger.
Then will our last actor please come up?
Tie him fast, wrap him up and hang him. He'll sing for 3 days, right? I'm not that patient. Let's just get it over with.
And with that, the case has been...
Closed. If the word is closed, you gotta close it.
Close
the end. That's it.
I was really hoping that we were going to get a the end thing on the next page. I was really holding out for that one.
That was great. Star. Oh no, all of a sudden, this armor man is glowing with an awesome power, Star. This pile of corpses is a pretty big deal. They're calling up Keiichi again. I don't care that you're not enjoying this. This is the shit. This is Rikichi's finest. Huh? It's the phone. Hello? Oh, Keiichi-kun. Thanks for all your work.
Yeah, looks like you're having a roaring old time.
God.
And yet here I am, busy with reading the scenario for next story.
You're literally Keiichi right now.
Whatever.
It's like, ugh.
I'm in a good mood today, so I'll let you off without any teasing.
Oh.
Is she on there? Can you put her on?
What? What are you going to talk to Shion?
What, are you going to announce it here? I wanted to keep this a secret for a while longer, but okay.
a secret between Shion-chan and Keiichi-san.
What kind of secret could that be?
What do you mean? Nobody told me about this. No. Yes, ma'am. That's what. It's a. Anyway. Okay, Kei-chan. Let's say it at the same. I can't
Good luck.
do that.
Good luck. I'll echo you. It's fine.
1, 2, 3.
The main character of the next story will be Shion in a second. Woo! I hope you're excited. What? Crazy.
Yes. So that's that. The one topping the popularity charts since her first appearance.
That's horseshit.
Come on, talking to her though. The late appearing younger sister of the twins has been the pattern of things ever since the days of TH. What's that?
I don't know.
I have no idea what that means, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, I've been fired from my main character post for once.
Correct.
If the rumors are right, I might even get a portrait finally.
That'd be crazy. In the 4th arc? That's crazy.
Well, portraits of Kei-chan would be a big waste of disk space.
Right.
If it couldn't all fit on one disk, there's a pretty high chance he'd be the first one dropped.
Damn.
You okay with this, Shion-san? The main character always meets some terrible fate in the end.
Nah, she'll be fine.
Well, until now, but that doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen next time.
With Higurashi, we're already at the 3rd game of the Higurashi When Their Cry series. This first half presented a lot of strange and exciting mysteries, but starting next time, the mysteries will start to be solved in the 2nd half, which is what we're definitely moving into in the next arc. The 4th arc, the halfway point in this 6-arc series, marking the start of the investigation arc, temporary name.
That is a very Ryukashi moment. Like, guys, we're solving. Oh wait, shit! I had. Oh, whoopsie.
We'll get to it. We'll talk about it in a second.
That means it'll be a thrilling story where I become a detective and solve all these crazy, unfair mysteries. You'll better think up good signature phrases like, "You, sir, are the criminal."
Star.
That won't happen. Never. You'll get too close to the 3 family secrets, be imprisoned, and then get tortured. You're shooing to meet a violent, unnatural death. Oh, sis, I should say the same to you. Are you mentally prepared for me to see through all your mysteries and secrets, and then have you apologize to me and commit suicide?
No chance of Oishiro Summer's curse for me, is there?
Oh. Anyway. The new story to begin the 2nd half, temporarily called Miyakashi,
The 4th arc.
or Eye-Opening, is currently undergoing diligent development. We should be able to unveil it to you in the near future, so I hope you look forward to it.
Onakakishi, Watanagashi, and Tetagoroshi. What truths will y'all come up with after reading these 3 stars? Or will you just come up with more questions instead of theories?
I'll take C for all. Give up.
Rena has no clue either.
For all of you warriors who never yielded to these 3 mysteries and kept on fighting.
That's you!
It's me?
I guess so.
Oh.
You're the warrior.
We present you with one final scenario as thanks for your enthusiasm, one which we never originally planned on giving you. Please enjoy it.
Yeah.
What?
I imagine that was, I don't know, like, how these were released, but yeah, he planned on just going straight from Tetagoroshi to Miyakashi, and the one in the middle, Himatsubushi, is, like, an afterthought. I don't know whether that line was added in after the first release. I think that might be the case, but I don't know for sure. But
alrighty.
Well, we won't actually be having this Shion arc next, but we're getting there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. Done.
Recaps next.
Woo!